I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, shit.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Macho Movie Madness. Yeah. I am your host, Brandon. Alongside me always is Chris and Andrew.
Hello.
And this is part 2 of our John Carpenter podcast because we just simply didn't have enough time last time.
Nope.
Who does? And we didn't even really get to good parts. We didn't get talking.
The meat. We just ate the potatoes. We didn't get the meat yet.
Yeah. What he said. Yeah,
I don't think
I kind of like what he
ever
said.
gotten the meat.
I kind of like it. Yeah, I can't say I've gotten the meat, but
it
might be good.
You're about to.
You're in big trouble.
I'm in big trouble. So yeah, we didn't really get too far. We talked about a lot of his. We talked about a few of his big titles, some of his worst titles. We talked about The Fog, and we touched a little bit on Escape from New York. We want to talk about that a little bit more today, I think.
Oh, we have to.
We have to talk a little bit more. And a few of his bad ones too, like Village of the Damned, stuff like that. But there's so much more to be told about John Carpenter and his movies. Escape from New York. Since we didn't talk about that, I don't feel like we talked about that enough.
Right.
And how badass that is. I feel like we should start with that one.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
I think for me, on Escape from New York is like one of the things that really like hits with me, and I think I'm a big gamer.
Yeah.
But the connections that Metal Gear Solid, the series Metal Gear Solid, basically copied.
Oh, yeah.
Off of this movie,
straight up.
I mean, just straight up copy of this movie. I mean,
everything.
pretty well. A lot of stuff. And when you go back and watch it, you can see Metal Gear in it. Like, I'm like, wow, this is my shit.
Have you guys seen the cover to the first Metal Gear game
yeah.
for NES?
Yeah.
You know what that's a blatant ripoff of? That is Kyle Reese.
That's Kyle
from
Reese.
Terminator.
Oh yeah, straight up. Yeah, that is Michael Biehn.
Yeah. I'm actually wondering if they have an original bone in their body, but I've never played the game.
No.
So.
Oh, well, Kojima, you can tell Kojima was inspired by this a lot. And I think, and I'm pretty sure Kojima did call up Carpenter asking if he could use his character Snake.
I'm sure he probably didn't care.
So, and Carpenter's like, wow, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Carpenter's a huge gamer.
I'm sure he's played most of them.
Oh, I guarantee
But I'm a big fan of the Metal Gear Solid franchise, the Metal Gear franchise, period. So that was just awesome for me.
We touched on what a great character Snake is on our last podcast. Who is your favorite side character? Because they have it's an all-star cast as far as supporting.
Do boobies count? If I'm thinking Adrian. Maggie.
That's actually exactly what I was going to say. The exact thing.
Because of that outfit.
Can you? Well, actually, not the exact same thing. Because I was gonna ask. Can I say cleavage? Can I claim that's my favorite side character?
Yeah, that's a good side character because it stood out for
really,
having no speaking parts. It really stood out.
It really is.
So
it spoke to my soul.
It spoke to something.
I was going to say Lee Van Cleef, and that can't really compare with movies.
You know what? Harry Dean
Stanton.
It was awesome in this movie. Like he is in almost every movie.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I got to give a shout out to Isaac Hayes' little car with the chandeliers on the front
who
of
doesn't
it.
want one of those?
That's pretty interesting.
Tight.
Yeah, I wish I had one.
Pimpin'
That's what I aspire to have
ain't.
one day. It's not.
Or is it?
To Isaac Hayes it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's the Duke.
He's the Duke, baby. He's the Duke. The Duke of New York.
Pimping is easy.
Just a little FYI.
When you got the right glasses, pimping is easy.
The madness.
I really love Donald Pleasance in this.
I love Donald Pleasance.
Total buffoon in this movie.
Well, he's pitiful.
Yeah.
But it was so great because the whole movie, it was just about the expense of the president. He played the president, And I'm like, wow, this is really weird. After seeing Dr. Loomis, this is such a weird role because I watched Halloween first, of course. So it was a weird role for him and for me to see him in. And what's crazy about him is how pitiful he was. And then at the end, when everything's all fine and hunky, he's like, oh, that was awesome. That was one of the best parts of the movie for me. But at the same, right after that, when he gets ready to go on air, all of a sudden he's just back to being the president. He's like, I don't give a shit about you or anybody else. Yeah. Like, wow, this guy. It's fine to say now when you're not being shot at and held hostage.
Right.
And actually, one thing during the commentary that I absolutely loved, Kurt and John were talking about was a lot of ideas that Donald was throwing out for this role because he absolutely loved the character.
The Margaret Thatcher thing.
Yeah, the Margaret Thatcher thing. And he had this whole backstory that Carpenter did. He's like, yeah, I didn't use it. I didn't want to use it.
Yeah.
But he said he had an elaborate thing, I just didn't want to use it. but the wig that he wore was Pleasant's idea.
Yeah.
That was his idea. And I thought that was just hilarious.
Yeah. They really didn't have time for the backstory. They had to cut like an entire sequence out of the beginning where Snake robbed the reserve.
Yeah, robbed her.
Just for pacing issues.
Yeah. So they wanted to set up who he was.
Yeah.
Because
it takes him a while to get into the prison.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was it kind of seems like once he's in there, it's already getting over. It's already moving along.
Yeah. It might as well be over once he gets in there.
They talked about the scene too, where they were tossing that girl around like a rag doll, and how that caught a little flack. But even Kurt's like, well, I mean, that's my character. I don't care about anybody else. Yeah. I wasn't supposed to help her.
No,
like that's I'm Snake. I don't care about anybody else. The mission. I'm doing the mission, and he's forced to do the mission anyway.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the scene after that where he walks up on Buck Flower getting beat up.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. President. Sure, I'm the president.
Yeah, sure, I'm the president. Oh.
But I like the banter at the desk between him and Lee Van Cleef.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, when he's trying to get him to go in. And
that was awesome.
I think he's probably my favorite side character.
Who's that?
Lee Van Cleef.
Lee Van Cleef.
Yeah.
It was interesting hearing about him and his. He had some knee issues, and he said it was a real struggle for him to just doing his walking scenes and talk and focus on.
Yeah.
Because they use the Panaglide, that Carpenter's notorious for using, and he was struggled, I guess, or was nervous about his knee buckling real bad and stuff.
Well, he was in pretty bad shape when they filmed this.
Yeah, but you wouldn't tell he was awesome in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's like a always a consummate professional.
Yeah.
Like on everything that I've ever seen about him. And that might be I might be biased towards him as the character.
Yeah.
Because I like the actor so much.
Right.
Well, his character in this movie was something very similar to Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't give really a lot of shit about a lot of
things.
Oh
yeah, he didn't give a shit.
I liked their little dialogue at the end.
Yeah,
that was pretty awesome. I thought that was pretty great, and actually the ending was really good anyway. And just destroying the tape and throwing it and walking off. That was pretty awesome.
Almost as good as the ending. I don't know. You could argue, but almost as good as the ending in the next.
I actually, to be honest, I actually think Escape from LA had a better ending.
Yeah.
Just because it was wild. Because I kind of when it happened, I was kind of thinking, oh, I don't think he's there because he's gonna get back at them somehow.
Right.
But sure as shit, he was not there the whole time, and that was so
Shut
badass.
It down.
Yeah.
That was so badass, and he just pushes the fucking button and walks off and lights his. There's no smoking on the United States. So smoke free.
What's everybody's opinion on Escape from LA?
Love it.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I
always have.
Okay, I'll tell you something. I know it was supposed to be this way, and I also know it was the time. The CGI is terrible.
Oh yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of special effects and scenes that were cheesy and bad. But at the same time, it was fun, and it was still an escape movie. You know? I mean, I actually thought it was funny. Like, and they talked about it in the commentary for the first one, and how they never full on went with the Snake's an asexual kind of character, but he obviously didn't have or care. He had a little bit of he did care a little bit about the females in the movie, I guess, in a certain way, certain females in the movie. but he never really did have that romantic,
right?
Character, that story, and kind of the same in this one. And what I thought was hilarious about this one was that he gets kind of this girl that's a potential love interest who is basically offering herself up for the night to crash and go back to my place for a little while. She ends up following him, and then right when she has a little heart to heart, oh, it's not so bad here. It's actually better than there. Boom, and then she gets shot right after she says that.
Yeah,
like my kids.
Yeah,
like that's insane. But you know what? The whole premise behind Escape from LA was actually pretty cool because they were sending. It's not unlike anything I couldn't picture happening now. Just on a, even though it's a little bit
crazy,
more it's a little crazier,
more extreme.
It's more extreme. But if you had an earthquake that hits and separates Los Angeles from United States, and you just send everybody and make Los Angeles a prison plant, prison island.
Yeah.
And but you know what? Sending people to prison like they were. For false reasons, like purposes, that's something that can happen. That's something that happens.
Christian fundamentalist president's more crooked than the guys in the prison. In a lot of
cases. Yeah, and how would that go over now? You know what I mean? In this day and age, where only Christians are allowed in America, and only because Muslims were on the deal, and that would freak people out. At the end, he's like, there's no relationships and no kissing, except unless when you're married.
Land of the free.
Land of the free. So that's kind of what we're seeing now in a way, but just no one's getting locked up on a prison island, but
not yet.
But they're getting locked up for hate crimes
if
and
everybody,
crazy shit.
If everybody gets their way,
if everybody got
on
their
either
way.
on either side,
on either side because they're so retarded. I loved it, man. I love Steve Buscemi's part in this.
Yeah, I love Steve Buscemi.
I do too.
You know what I love is I love his face when Snake rides that motherfucking tidal wave.
CGI wave.
The double take.
Yeah, CGI tidal wave down the highway and then jumps onto Buscemi's car. Like his face is hilarious.
I think that's one of the worst and coolest scenes in that entire movie.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's so bad.
It's so bad it's good.
Yes.
It's so bad. It's
so bad that it's good.
Yeah, exactly.
God,
I
don't know. I think L.A.
and Peter Fonda in it. He's the surfer guy. I don't know.
L.A. is, it is a masterpiece in its own right.
It is.
It is the
best. Classic.
It is the best of the worst movies ever made.
I'll give you that. Yeah. I can give you that.
And that's like,
but I think it's supposed to be.
That's such a prestigious. Yeah, it is. It is. He made it as a big FU to the movie industry.
Yeah.
And he got his point across. They gave him $300 million friggin' dollars
in '96,
and he blew every penny of it, and was like, making fun of him the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then after,
you can make Avengers for $300 million now.
Oh my God,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
like that's insane.
Yes,
this is '96.
Well, I guess it was just because, he was a big name by then. He had some really good hits, but most of his movies didn't hit like
Halloween.
They didn't hit their peak interest in people until the 90s.
Right.
Then they got a big cult following from everybody, like all his movies did.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden, now he's like this big high regarded director. And so the movie studios are like, oh, well, get him. No matter, give him whatever he wants.
His story
he wants a big
is so much. In a small way, I feel like his story is so much like Hank Williams Sr.
Yeah. Except he ain't killed him.
Except he didn't kill himself. Except he lived a lot longer. But you know what I mean? Like he's the outlaw. He's the one that obviously he didn't have the issues that Hank Williams had, but just in a sense of him being an outlaw, where he's revered now for certain things, but he wasn't then.
Yeah,
and it's like, you motherfuckers you're the one that did all this to Hank Williams, and now look at you, look what you're doing. His son made a fucking song about it.
Yeah,
with Waylon, like his song, just making fun of people.
Yep.
That now you're just coasting on his name, and then in a way, I feel like that's how Carpenter is. He's done all this amazing work.
Yep.
He's underrated, And now they appreciate every step of the way, but they won't let him be him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he was doing in L.A. with L.A.
Yeah,
was
well,
he was
it has to be.
He was just making a point.
Yeah.
It's in my top 10. It's ahead of some movies that it probably shouldn't be ahead of.
Yeah, me
Probably.
too.
It's a snake story,
Yeah.
and just the attitude and the feel.
You know what? I wish we could get another one, just one more.
I know, I do too.
Well, they I don't know which film company put it out, but that movie with Guy Pearce in it, it was an escape movie, and I guess Carpenter got some money out of that in a lawsuit.
Oh, really?
Good for him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He has no chill at all.
No.
He does not fuck around.
No, he doesn't.
But he did go to bat for the rights holders to Escape from New York. They went after Metal Gear. They went after Kojima.
Really?
They went off the studio because they were they were wanting to sue for damages for Metal Gear because it copied them. It's like, what kind of damages if anything, it helped both.
Yeah, people are going to see that character and want to know where.
Yeah, it's not damaging anything.
No.
But anyway, it's the right holders trying to get money, and John encouraged them to not pursue Kojima because he had a lot of respect for Kojima, from what I read.
Yeah.
But that's interesting if that's true. I mean, that would make sense. But it was all over the major news, as far as the gaming news and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's pretty interesting. I kind of wish we would get another one, but if we don't, that's fine too.
Escape from the Earth.
Yeah, escape from the Earth.
That would be
amazing.
That would be pretty good.
I think that'd be amazing.
I don't think we will ever get it, but
No, with both of them in their ages, I don't know. I think it would be fine, but I wouldn't care. I just don't think we need it. I don't think it's going to happen.
Is there a comic book series?
yeah, there
after
is.
this?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
That'd be wonderful.
There's
there
comics
is-
of everything.
It
actually.
is.
They even got
Which
Big
I'm
Trouble.
pretty sure now they have an Escape by itself, but they have a 6 comic book run from Boom Studio that is Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York together.
Yeah,
I've got the first 6 Big Trouble.
Yeah,
They're pretty good.
yeah. I think they're pretty neat.
but yeah, they're mostly an homage and less of a
Their own thing.
they're less of an original story. But they're still pretty cool, though.
I think I'd rather see that than a movie because
Yeah.
I'm scared
Yeah.
somebody would screw it up if Carpenter wasn't involved.
You're right.
Before we get to Big Trouble, what about vampires?
I really like vampires.
I did too.
It is very
It's very 90s.
it's very 90s. It's very James Wood.
It is from Dusk Till Dawnish, though. Even.
It's very dusk till dawn.
That's why I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, actually, I like that movie. I don't mind that movie.
I like the movie. I hate the dialogue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Some of the dialogue is kind of terrible.
Well, and
but I'm not a Tarantino fan at all, and I know it's not his movie, but he was in it, and I
Yeah.
can't stand him either way.
James Wood.
He's overrated as shit to me.
It was almost like when I think about this movie, it makes me think that it was like John Carpenter wanted to make a movie with James Woods, so he wrote the dialogue this way. Because that, the way James Wood is talking is the way James Wood talks in real life. That is not acting.
Yeah.
All he did was he put a leather jacket on and sunglasses, and then he showed up.
Yeah.
And then he just talked the way he talks.
Just talks the way James Woods talks.
I didn't dislike the whole movie. I think the first scene is amazing.
Yeah,
and I
it
thought,
is.
man,
Yeah.
I'm going to like this.
Yep.
And then, them going in and cleaning house and pulling the vampires out of there and watching them burn. But once they get to the hotel with the girls, it just
Yeah.
became
Well, see, now I think, like the party and stuff. That's I didn't much.
Well, Daniel
I don't
Baldwin's
really care about
definitely the
that.
weakest thing about the movie.
Oh, well, he's the weakest Baldwin.
He is the weakest Baldwin.
Well, I don't know.
I don't-
There's another that.
I don't like any Baldwins, to be honest.
the
Even
other one?
Alec.
Really?
I'm not
You know
a
what?
Baldwin fan.
I like Alec.
You know what? Alec is very. He can be very funny, but he can't let go of himself. He can't quit being himself long enough to be good.
Right.
He seems very full of himself.
Oh yeah, and he's a horse's ass.
Yeah.
He's always punching people in public and he automatically assumes that he is better and smarter than everyone
That's
else
kind of
in
what
the
it
world.
seems like. I'm waiting.
No,
for,
he says that.
Yeah,
shit.
I think I'm really. He's that kind of guy. I'm really waiting for something to come out with about him.
Oh yeah,
I'm really waiting for it.
He's already been defended. Like he's already had to apologize for defending some of those guys, some of those directors and producers and shit.
Of course he has.
Before we get the wrong way on the one-way track, what do you guys like about what do you guys like about vampires?
I was gonna say, I didn't care for the partying stuff, but afterwards, the next day, I thought that whole thing was genius because it showed just how little James Wood gave a shit about anybody else.
Yeah.
Because when the
preacher,
he walks in there and the girls are all dead, and he's like, "Just leave her, man. She's fucking dead." And he's
that
like,
was his team.
Yeah, he's like, just he doesn't give a shit. Like he has a one-track mind. He wants to kill vampires, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was actually pretty genius because they didn't have him go, "Oh, no, that's not the character. The character is an asshole."
Yeah. Just
but
like Snake.
Mostly,
you gotta keep moving.
What I liked about it the most was actually like them pulling the vampires out. Like that was just really cool. The action parts, the vampire stuff. Anything with the vampires was really good. I thought. I
thought so too.
I like vampires.
I do too.
I hate when they're like sissified.
Yeah.
I know.
I can't remember the main vampire's name, but the scene where they're in the truck trying to get away and he's like flying.
That
was
awesome.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it.
Another thing. Sorry for interrupting. Another scene that I really loved was James Wood's dialogue with the preacher, and he's like, oh, what was it? He's like, back there when we were wrestling around. Did I give you wood?
Did you get chubby?
He's like, did you get a little mahogany? And he's like, what? A what? And he's like, a little chubby, a little mahogany, a little wood. That was hilarious. Like, who the fuck talks to a preacher that way?
James Woods.
Or a priest. Sorry.
James Woods. John Carpenter.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I don't even remember what I was going to say, to be honest with you.
It was hilarious.
How do you follow that?
I'm focused on Priestwood now.
Yeah. Oh, and then at the first, when he's like, "This isn't a Jane fucking Austen book." You think he's like, they'll bend you over backwards and suck your fucking blood out of you. Like, just, I mean, he talked like James Woods. It's bad and good at the same time.
I picture James Woods on Family Guy being the real James
exactly
because
he is,
because he's a real James Woods. Oh, piece of candy, and then
oh my god, I follow him on Twitter, dude. He is. He's
insane.
He is himself.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's awesome.
Anyway,
what do we got next?
Oh boy. Oh god.
Big Trouble in Little China.
How long we got?
Oh man.
We got.
You sure you want to talk about that before these other ones? Because I could go.
Let's talk about They Live first then.
Okay.
Let's talk about They Live then, and then
I'm
we'll save that for last. We'll do They Live. We'll save
They Live.
I don't want to talk about Halloween too much. We don't have to talk about it.
Well, I mean, we did just do like a full 2 hours.
We did a two-parter on Halloween and the Halloween franchise, and the first part was mostly the first one.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
The 45 of it were the first one. So, I mean, solid movie. It's one of my favorites. So we'll do They Live, then Big Trouble, then we'll do our 10.
I would say it's probably the biggest scary movie to ever be made.
Who's that? What's that?
Halloween.
Oh yeah. It means everything.
Just saying.
Right there with Psycho. Honestly.
Yeah, but without Psycho, we'd still have scary movies.
Sure.
Without Halloween, I don't think we'd have slashers.
Do you think we'd have Halloween without Psycho?
Oh yeah.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just because Psycho really brought.
Maybe it may be different.
Well, Psycho brought that real factor into the horror suspense genre. I think. I think there was something about that really, and then you had your other ones in the 70s that that really brought in some weird shit. You had Deliverance, and you had Last House on the Left. That got really real.
I think
really
without
sick.
John Carpenter, that's what Halloween would have been.
Yeah,
because they were going to call it the Babysitter Murders.
The Babysitter Murders,
yep.
Right?
I just don't see it.
Well, who was it? Wasn't it Irwin Yablans that come up with Halloween?
Yeah.
He was the one that come up with the name Halloween because the running title was The Babysitter Murders.
Right.
But which that was brilliant on his part. Like he has a lot to do with the Halloween franchise.
Yeah, he does.
Like Yoblins was a big part, or
Yeah.
Yablons, or when yeah.
But I think without Carpenter, it would have gone the way of like Black Christmas or something that people like us talk about, but like the mainstream.
Yeah.
I think Psycho was there because of Hitchcock, but then you got Halloween, which was. I don't know. I wasn't around back then, but it seemed like it was bigger.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, you are right in the sense that we wouldn't have the shit we did have, like Friday the 13th and stuff like that, without Halloween.
Yep.
That's just part of it.
Yep.
Whether John intended on that, it doesn't matter. Because that's the way it is.
Yep. We would have still had scary movies.
Sure.
But we wouldn't.
But it might have gone very different.
Exactly. We wouldn't have had slashers the way that we have.
It might have went very, very different if it wasn't for that. So that's one thing that that's why it's my favorite, especially of his. But anyway, but if anybody's interested in going in and listening to Halloween stuff, we've got a podcast.
I think
right before we changed our name.
We weren't near
7
as
and
good.
8, episode 7 and 8. Maybe.
7 and 8, yeah.
We weren't near as good or collected as we are now.
Yeah, well, we didn't have the audio.
We
and stuff
were trying a little too hard to be serious, I think, back then. But
yeah.
Well, we've had months to grow.
we've had a couple months to just
semi-pro now.
Yeah, I feel like a
I mean,
butterfly.
it was before we got our brand, really.
Yeah, that's before we changed our
we
brand and
became
everything.
The Macho movie.
Yeah, we were already macho, but
extremely macho.
Extremely macho. Before we put it out there. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to, it's on our YouTube, it's on our list, it's on iTunes. You can go listen to all of it, and that's on there.
Now the plug's over.
Yeah, the cheap plug.
Back to They Live.
They Live, which I watched for the very first time.
Oh boy.
Recently.
Oh boy.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, to me. And who the fuck knew that Roddy Piper could be as good as he was? Like, I mean, wrestlers are actors in many ways. Yes. In many forms, wrestlers are actors.
And a lot of them are better than what we get in most movies,
except for Hulk Hogan.
Except for Hogan.
And I love Hogan, but come on, Suburban Commando.
Ooh. You know what?
Dude, I used to like that when I was a kid.
By the way, I seen that and I almost bought it. And
I'll tell you what.
I should have.
Hogan as Thunderlips.
Yeah.
Was really, really good.
That was good.
That was really good. That was very good acting.
Yeah.
You gotta kill the Italian meatball.
Yeah. That was very good acting.
Yeah.
I don't think Hogan is as bad as we think.
Maybe it's not Hogan. Maybe it's the script.
When he was doing his acting in movies, and I do that. I mean that
Yeah.
that he was
The air
not
quotes.
acting, and those were not movies.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Having a
But
rough time tonight.
whenever he was doing those, that was a very cheesy time for movies.
It was.
It was a very cheesy time for scripts. It was just a bad time in
You
general.
remember Undertaker in that?
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god! In that voice.
Oh my god!
While we're
Poor
on the
Mark
subject
Calloway.
of wrestling and movies, Roddy Piper was discovered at WrestleMania 3 by John Carpenter. Well, he wasn't discovered, but he decided.
Yes.
Vince McMahon offered him a movie not to go.
Wow.
And so he could have been in something like a cinematic masterpiece like No Holds Barred.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
And he's like, and he turned him down. He said, "You don't have a John Carpenter."
Yeah.
Well, it's really funny that what is it?
Roddy really respected Carpenter.
I heard Roddy didn't know who Carpenter was at first.
At
At first, because like John was a huge fan of wrestling and of Roddy, and he picked Roddy, and Roddy didn't know who John was even after all the movies he'd had at the time. And this is '88, so man, I don't know why I don't have this in the store, and I don't know how I haven't seen this until recently, but this was awesome.
Yeah.
Like even in a weird, it wasn't the best way, it was still awesome. Because there were so many iconic moments from this movie that people don't even realize is this movie, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that quote this movie that don't even
that
never even seen it.
Yeah, shit, I've heard about quotes and stuff in this movie, quoting this movie before even actually watching it.
Just the attitude of this movie, authority telling you what to do subliminally or maybe not subliminally.
Yeah.
Well, and just the FU attitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we deal with every single day And there's
And
and,
people-
and it's like that. It's like that in like today's day, and I mean, and it was like that back in the 80s.
It's
too.
been like that forever.
It's been like that forever.
But in the 80s was the big thing, and Carpenter really wanted to get that across. So this was a semi-political movie in
Yeah,
a way.
it was.
But it holds even truer today.
Yep.
And Carpenter had mentioned that recently. This movie will stand the test of time.
Oh yeah.
Even in a cheesy way,
Yep.
because the message there is real.
You know what? You know what gets me about this movie is that friggin' chick with the eyes, man. She is so creepy. God dang.
The main chick,
Yes.
the one that was
What's her name?
Meg Foster.
Foster. God
She
dang.
had some
she's
pretty
got
but weird eyes.
freaky
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah, they were weird.
Reptile eyes.
She's a weird looking.
If she ain't a lizard person, I don't know.
I guarantee it.
Woo, I guarantee it. Her and
You
Hillary.
couldn't read her character.
If
at
they
any point in time.
no, you could
No.
never. It was different from scene to scene.
Yeah. And I
That's
love
what's so confusing about it.
I love how she just like throws him out the fucking window.
That was interesting.
Like
Just hits him with the head in the head with the wine bottle and throws him out
Yeah,
her
like,
window.
what?
Like what?
what?
Like that's insane. Who does that?
And
The
then
guy was
there's-
coming down from a sunglasses high. Come
yeah.
on.
And then her gay neighbors. Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah. That was weird. And then it's just there was nothing to it. You know what I mean? There was nothing
Yeah.
there. It was just there.
yeah, they were just like there.
They were
like,
just looking at them
what?
going inside. Like what's going
I
on?
think they were poking fun at L.A.
I think so
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
I think it was poking fun at
probably.
LA, and I think by this point it was one of those where you didn't know who was who.
Yeah.
You know, unless you've seen it from the glasses.
Yeah,
You
unless
know,
you've
the
seen
perspective,
the black and white.
the perspective, which I thought was a nice touch, seeing the black and white. Everything was through black and white.
Oh yeah.
You know, all
Yep.
the subliminal messages behind the real logos and the colored world and
Yep.
and like behind the glasses and the people's faces and stuff. I thought that was I actually really liked. They said that the most expensive scene to shoot was the supermarket scene.
Yeah.
Because they had to actually build a supermarket for all that to go down in, and then they had to restock it. They had to stock it 2 different times with real stuff, or off-brand stuff, and then the black and white
Yeah.
subliminal stuff. I thought that was awesome. Like how much work would that have to go
yeah.
through to stack
Yeah,
canned
just-
goods on a
just for a
shelf
short-
just for a few
short
minutes
2
worth
minute,
of
2 minute, 3
days
minute
and
scene.
days and hours of work.
They Live has probably the best fist fight in the history of cinema.
Of fist fights ever.
How good is Keith David?
Dude, yeah, both of them in the scene.
Yeah.
It was 4 or 5 minutes and some change on the
Yeah.
on the fight. Just I mean, it was obviously interrupted. They said it took like 3 days and some to shoot.
Yeah.
But
Dude, like
Dude.
that was an amazing choreographed fight.
oh yeah, it was just a
It was
5-minute.
so gritty and real.
Yeah, just a 5-minute gritty ass fight, and in a way, the message of it was amazing because one, you had his buddy who shows up, and he's trying to get him to put these glasses on. He finds another set of glasses, and he's trying to get him to put it on because he wants him to see what is going on. And the message is great because he keeps refusing. He just doesn't put them on. He just kicks then they're just kicking the shit out of each other.
Well, Keith David's like, hey, I got a family. I just got to be normal. I got to just go with the flow. I got a family to
It's
feed.
like, do you think he already knew in a way, or you think?
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Just some, well, I don't think he actually knew, but I think he knew something was going on
I think
he knew something was up.
it's like this, okay?
Because he told him not to get involved earlier on.
Most people, yeah, exactly.
He didn't want anything to do with him because Roddy had killed a cop.
Right.
Or well, a cop.
Yeah.
Most people in the real world, not in movie world, but in the real world, most people know that we're getting fed bullshit daily.
Yes, absolutely.
But most people don't give a shit because they still got to pay their bills. They still got to go out and be normal.
Most people are willing to
live a life.
If it doesn't bother them too bad, or doesn't inconvenience their day-to-day life, like through internet or through TV and whatnot. Like if it doesn't interfere with them and their families, they're willing to sidestep all of that for a false sense of security, just so they can mind their own fucking business. They don't want to think about how life is already shitty as it is. Life is already hard as it is.
Yep.
They don't want to think about the worst. They don't want to think about the worst thing that could be happening. And that's somebody else controlling the things behind the scenes, or They don't want to think about government subliminally putting messages in their TV or their ads and everything else. They don't. We've got this certain societal standards and rules of how certain things should be.
Yeah.
Marry, have kids, procreate. This is what you need to do. You need to do this. You need to work, and you need to follow these guidelines. And this is, you need to be running the show for us, and you need to be our sheep.
And all that you just said, that's why I think he knew the whole time, even without seeing it. He knew that
I don't think he knew what it was, but I think he knew that
he knew something was up.
He knew that I think he knew that there was something that was going to screw something up, and he just didn't want to get involved. He didn't want the headache. No matter, he knew that whatever he was going through, his buddy was going through, he didn't want to go through because he had a wife and kids and he had a life. And he just didn't want that to be fucked up. Everybody's been there. Yeah. We sometimes we're just want to be content with what we're doing. We don't want to wake up to the real problems and fix it. Some of us are okay with letting it get worse. Some of us are just okay with it being.
Yep.
There's, I was telling him before, there's only two types of people. There's the ones that don't care, and the ones that do care.
Yeah.
And the ones that don't care are willing to let anything go and let the situation get worse, if only in hopes that it doesn't bother them. And then the ones that do care, they're made out to be crazy, and they're trying to fix things, but it's like running into a brick wall. And I think that's why it resonates so well with me. I think that's why I love this movie so much.
I love the scene after the fight where they go back to the hotel room and they're all swollen.
And they're just dragging ass up the stairs, and like I like that too.
I love when they're having the fight, and Roddy swings that fucking 2x4.
You dirty mother.
And he's like, you dirty mother. And then he's like, and Roddy's like, oh shit.
Oh, he
starts laughing.
He breaks the glass on his car. Like, he breaks the glass. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And then he slaps the beer bottle like he was going to break it and stab
it. And then Roddy starts laughing.
Yeah, and then it busts all over the place instead, and he just laughs.
Yeah.
My favorite line from the movies in that I was telling you guys earlier, put the glasses on or start eating that trash.
Start eating the trash.
I think that's probably my favorite one-liner too.
That's my second.
I bet that was
improv. You're going to eat that trash can.
That's my second, of course, next to the most famous
Bubblegum.
One. Yeah, the bubblegum one.
I don't know. I like in the supermarket when he tells the old lady that how ugly she is.
I do like that.
God damn, lady, you are ugly.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I take the glasses off. You look normal. I put the glasses on. God damn, you're ugly.
Formaldehyde face.
Yeah, you got
formaldehyde.
You got formaldehyde
Sir,
face.
you're gonna have to leave. And then, well, what was really there was actually a few scenes in that movie that were really creepy. And yeah, all of them had those damn watches, and they were all in the supermarket, and they were talking. Yeah, we got somebody who can see. We got somebody who. That was creepy.
Once again, consumerism. Well, that's us with cell phones.
Yep. That's I think I loved it so much because it was like. It was so close to that. I don't know if it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something. It was like an old sci-fi black and white film.
No. Soylent Green.
Yes, Soylent Green. Yes,
it is
even better.
It is very, very similar to Soylent Green.
Even better reference.
Very similar.
Yes.
They're different. They're totally different.
Sure.
But they're very similar at the same time.
Eerie though.
Yeah.
It's eerie, just creepy and eerie because you've got so many that are these high, and they're not just the government officials and they're the media. And they're not just the media, but they're the higher ups.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's some standard
and
normal
then there's
people
underneath them. You know, like there's the cop. There was the normal cop, and then there was the two cops that were.
Yeah. And then you got the humans that are working with them because it's better to play along.
Better to play along.
And because then you get money and you get better lives, and and look at politicians now.
Before we move on to another, how do you feel about the ending?
It's all right. I think.
Are you happy with the? It's
about the only way it could.
The bad ending.
He couldn't stop it.
No,
not one guy.
I can kind of see, like, I think that was
I like it.
I think that's the realistic approach to take. Yeah. I think that's the best approach you can take as John Carpenter. You know what I mean?
I was super shocked when Keith David got shot.
I know.
It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just came out of freaking nowhere.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't read her like a book, and it was almost like she didn't even have a real part. It was just because, one, she was a normal person. And then she worked for the radio station. So when you found that out, you suspect, okay, well, maybe she's involved. She knows about this. and then she knocks him out. And then she comes in crying and apologizing to him during that meeting. And then it gets raided and they kill everybody. They kill the resistance. And then she takes off in the crowd. And then all of a sudden she's back at the station.
Almost like she's an agent playing them.
Yeah, like she's a playing. Yeah, but you don't know for sure. But you know something's up because he's dragging her around this place trying to escape. And I don't know, it's weird. And then all of a sudden she just
pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah, she just grabs a gun and just shoots him in the back of the head. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. And then I did like the fact that he got her at the end though. I thought that was pretty great. She was trying to talk him down. That was insane. That was what's crazy. Yeah. She was like, you know what? Just let's forget all about this. Let's come get off the roof. Forget about this. Let's just move on. And then him taking it out, and one of my favorite scenes because it's fucking hilarious is that chick. Obviously, this is the gratuitous scene that has got to be in a Carpenter movie of some kind. A topless chick, and she's riding this dude, and everybody by this point the thing's been been destroyed. So now everybody can see who the aliens are. So she looks down, and he's like, "What's the problem?" And obviously, it's an alien. That was hilarious.
This movie,
no real reaction. She just like looks down. Huh?
This movie, he may talk about it in his commentary, upsets some people because he made this movie for just a few $1 million. It debuted at #1.
Yeah,
and I think it was in a theater for 2 weeks.
Yep,
and I think it pissed off the wrong people.
Well, actually,
because it disappeared.
Actually, Keith David said that in a commentary. He said that he's pretty sure that it pissed off the wrong people, and it got shut down.
Because it made a profit. It made like $14 million or something.
Fast.
Wow.
It made a profit fast.
Yeah, it was...
Probably because John Carpenter was right, and the people that he was giving shit and exposing in the movie was the ones that shut it down.
Yeah,
it sounds crazy because it's all conspiracy, but John Carpenter himself, who is in the business, has said this.
Yeah,
he knows exactly what's up.
Yep.
It's a real thing. These are forces at hand that you can't control that are going to control you no matter what, or trying to change and tell you. I mean, look at the media now. This is the simplest, most realistic way you can explain it. Look at how the media manipulates stories.
Yeah.
Look at how they betray us, us as Americans or as citizens, no matter where you are. Look how they betray our trust every day by feeding us nonsense to try and feed some agenda of some kind, no matter what side it's on. No one should trust anybody.
No, and you can't.
And that's why this movie is so amazing. Exactly. That was the whole point.
Top 5 for all of us?
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
As soon as I watched it, it was top 5. Just not just because it was Carpenter and there was amazing scenes like the bubblegum scene and all that, but because of the message, the political statement that I agree with.
Yep.
I loved it. I think it's great. It's actually number 3 for me, and I'll go through my list in a minute, but yeah.
Agreed.
So, any final closing statements on that?
No, I don't have any.
Big Trouble in Little China, last one.
Oh my god. Okay.
The main event.
Big Trouble in Little China is, I don't know if it's the movie that I've watched the most. I know it's the most that I've watched out of all his other movies, out of all of Carpenter's movies. And I would say it's probably, if it's not the most watched movie of my movies that I've watched, it's in top 3 of the most watched
all
movies
time or
of
his?
all time.
Both.
Of all time.
Yeah, of all time.
My number 1's Escape from New York, and I think I've watched this more times than Escape from New York.
Wow. Yeah.
I know for a fact I've watched this over 25 times.
I defy you to find a more fun movie.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't do it. And I thought it was really funny. Okay, on the commentary to Big Trouble, Carpenter says that he said Kurt Russell's not playing this character. Kurt Russell is playing John Wayne playing this character. He said, I didn't even have to ask him to do that. Yeah. He just knew that's what I wanted automatically.
Yeah. Snake was Eastwood, and Jack Burton was John Wayne.
Yep.
And it was.
It's a good comparison.
It's the very best of every genre. Like it's like he took every genre of movie. Mm-hmm. and rolled them all into one and actually made it work. It's funny. It's got creepy, scary parts. It's got action. It's got every.
Sci-fi adventure,
It's got kung fu. Dude, it's got kung fu. It's got redneck stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a buddy comedy.
Exactly. It's got a love story. It's a buddy comedy. It's everything. It's every movie.
Yeah.
You know?
There's some hysterical scenes in this. I'm trying to figure out my favorite one. I love the scene after they steal his truck and he's in the back of the Chinese restaurant and he's in the kimono talking on the telephone.
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell him about this Chinese mysticism and he's just like, "What?"
Yeah.
It's like totally in over his head.
I love when he finally figures the gun out. I think that's my favorite scene of the whole movie. Oh my God. And then, he's the best. Kurt Russell's the best.
Oh,
he
absolutely.
is the best.
Hands down the best.
He is the best at everything. Like everything.
And it helps that I like him personally too. It seems like a likable dude personally.
Oh my God.
God.
I don't know. I really like.
He's kind of like Keanu. He's like Keanu in that.
I thought I would have a lot to say about this movie.
And now he's speechless.
But
Now he's
but
so excited.
really, like I'm kind of speechless because like what can you say about a movie that's this good? You know what I mean? Like how can you describe it to someone without just sitting there like I
just
think
talking about scenes.
I want to find, you know what I want to find? I want to find somebody who's never watched this and sit them down and I just want to watch their face as they watch it.
Yeah.
You know what's awesome is seeing this in the theater.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, you got to see it in theater?
I've seen my entire top 5
In theater.
second run in the theater. We had a place about 90 miles from here and I would go. There was one year I went like 8 times to see midnight showings because they were showing such good stuff. I figured I put like 800 miles on my truck. Just
we need to do that sometime because there's some old ass movies that they play over there that I love.
It's closed.
Yeah.
Is it closed?
It closed. It's a church because heaven
When
forbid
did
this
they
area
close
needs
that?
more churches in the Bible Belt.
Well, no shit. Well, why did they close? When did they close it?
I don't know. They got bought out
When was it? Do you know?
a couple years ago.
Really? Yeah. Well, shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Aliens was the last one I got to see there, and
Man.
I could have went and seen a couple more. I'm like, no, Aliens is a good one to go
If
out
anybody wants to start up a crowdfunding, I will build a theater and we'll do that.
Yeah.
on. But I can remember sitting in the theater
Just for old movies, dude.
15 minutes before it was starting. It was me and 2 other guys, and the guy stood up and goes, "Man, there better be more people show up for Jack Burton than this." And I'm like, "Hey, relax."
Man, that sucks. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
Man, watching.
I want to see somebody. I want to see somebody's face who hasn't seen this. I want to see somebody's reaction to it. But at the same time, I have done that because I made my wife watch it and she did not like it.
I don't think my wife
So
liked it either.
Well, I've actually got you beat. My wife likes this movie a lot.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
She's
man.
a keeper.
It's hilarious too because I said, hey, you know this is John Carpenter, right? And she's like, what? I said, yeah, it's John Carpenter, and we're doing this podcast. And then she's like, oh my god, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
She's like, it's weird, but it's really good, and that's like that makes sense that it's John Carpenter.
Yep.
Like exactly.
Favorite supporting characters in this one?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
I think Dennis Dunn is like total, like as far as being like his best friend. Just he did a great job for a guy that you'd never heard of.
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And had never done martial arts before this movie.
Yeah, and he really pulled that off too.
Yeah.
I don't know because they were all really good.
David Lopan, it's killing me that I can't think of the guy's name right now, but he's your stock old Asian guy and everything.
Yeah.
He was just batshit crazy and great.
He was probably my favorite. He's probably my favorite just because he's goofy. But man, I don't know. That's a really hard decision. I should have thought of that before we did this.
Yeah, I
'cause
didn't think about it. Did you like Kim Cattrall in this?
I did.
I did.
You did,
and I usually don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like I usually don't like her.
But I really did in this one.
I noticed on the big screen when I saw it, that scene where they're swimming.
Yeah.
And they come out. She was really swimming because you see everything through that shirt.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I've never noticed that.
Oh,
before.
she liked it that way too.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Like every movie she was in.
I just picture her, whatever her character is on Sex and the City. That's her.
Yeah.
Like that's her. She just fucks.
Oh yeah.
That's it. She's a horny old goat.
I was gonna say this and Porky's is the only thing I've really seen her in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh my god. That Porky's
was
scene
in,
was hilarious.
Oh man. Damn it. She was in one with Sheen. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, that's a pair.
Charlie.
Yeah.
That's not ringing any bells.
I don't remember what it was. I don't remember.
Favorite comedic scene.
When he figures the gun out.
Yeah.
When he figures yeah.
Definitely.
First time you ever plug somebody? Of course not.
Yeah, of course not. I don't know. It probably is cuz I love it. I love every scene. Every scene from this movie is hilarious. Even like the really weird supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
I think that is even like the first time I seen it, I remember thinking, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Oh, what is Black Blood of the Earth? That
Yeah,
scene.
like what in the hell? And then, but now, that's probably some of the best stuff.
What'll come out no more?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably the best stuff.
I love when they're in the elevator and they drink that fizzy drink.
Oh yeah, and he's like, what's he say? Does he say, "Oh man, I feel immortal"?
I feel invisible.
I feel invisible.
Hey, is anybody else hot in here?
God, he's the best.
Yeah.
He is the best. I don't know.
He's better than all the rest.
He is. Oh my God.
If we sound like ranting fanboys right now, it's because we are.
I'm trying not.
I'm just taking this all in, like watching you guys. Like, this is not even you guys. This is way higher on your list than it is mine. So I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
I'm trying to be like
because it's a good movie, but it's like
I'm trying to be like a movie critic, and I can't do it. I'm getting blushed.
I'm just being a good host and then letting y'all go.
No one ever talks to me about this movie. Everyone always goes, "Oh yeah, it was all right."
Yeah.
What the fuck do you mean it was all right? This is one of the best movies ever made in the history of fucking film.
You should be those people. You should see me when somebody comes in and like, hey, what's a good old horror movie? And I say Halloween.
Your eyes light up.
And I'm just, yeah, exactly. And I say like Halloween. And they're just like, I don't guess I've ever seen it. Is that any good?
Oh my
and I just want to choke the shit out of them. I just want to just choke the shit out of them. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? You haven't seen Halloween. Come on.
What's that mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Oh, how do you even? Okay. Since I've gushed all over this movie.
I know we're gonna do our top tens now. We're gonna do our top tens now. But right before we do our top tens, I wanna ask you guys, what is your top and it'll probably fall in the same line as your top 10 movies, but I'm not sure. But see if you can you give me your top 5 favorite characters from John Carpenter films?
Oh man.
Top 5 characters. Can you do it on the spot? Can you do it?
Yeah, they'd follow my top 5.
You think
probably,
so?
Yeah, I think it'd be
okay.
Real
So
close.
first of all, let's do. You want to do our top 10s first, then? So do your top 10. What you got?
Counting from 10 down, The Fog, Prince of Darkness, which we didn't really get to talk about, but you guys hadn't seen it. So
I haven't seen that.
Really great movie. If I can tell you guys sitting at home, go see it. For some reason, it's not massively out there to find unless you get online and get it, but very well worth a watch. Number 8, Christine. 7, Starman. 6, Escape from L.A. Top 5, They Live, Halloween, The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China, and Escape from New York.
Good list. Good list.
Okay.
You're next.
Me?
You're next.
Okay. It's going to sound a lot like we're going to have a lot of the same stuff here because
Oh, well, I mean, they're all the same movies, but they're going to be different
lists. Okay, starting from 10, I have Christine. Number 9, The Fog, which I said earlier, I'm not that big of a fan of it, but it is a really good movie. I'm just not a big Ghost fan.
Right.
Number 8, Assault on Precinct 13. Number 7, Vampires, which is different than Andrew. Number 6, Escape from L.A. Number 5, The Thing, which I wish it was higher. I don't know why it's not. I really don't. Number 4, Halloween. Number 3, They Live. Number 2, Escape from New York. Number 1, Big Trouble in Little China.
Number 1's Big Trouble in Little China?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, but judging by how you just talked about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Lost for words.
All right, so I've got Assault on Precinct 13 at number 10. I've got Vampires at number 9. Christine at 8. Escape from L.A. 7. The Thing I've got at 6.
Wow.
Because I think it's great, but like I like the other ones more.
Yeah.
At Big Trouble in Little China. The Fog was up in my top 5.
Wow.
Number 4.
Interesting.
I really liked Fog. And it's not because it was the best of, it just, I liked it more, but the music, man, like the setting, the music, the tone, and I love all of his early horror work. So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, that was just awesome for me. They Live was number 3, and that almost moved into my number 2, just because I love the message and it is such a different kind of movie.
It's fresh in your mind.
It's
too.
fresh in my mind though too. But I put Escape from New York just because it's Snake Plissken and it's such an incredible movie. And then of course number 1 for me, I'm biased, Halloween.
Yeah.
Because that was the granddaddy of them all, man. That was his. It wasn't his first, but it was his first major one.
Yeah.
I mean, Assault on Precinct 13 was his, I guess.
Technically,
Yeah, but it
his
wasn't
first.
It wasn't a major.
But
it
I mean,
wasn't major like Halloween.
Halloween was the real deal, and that's the one that stood the test of time. I mean, Assault did get a remake too, but Halloween just for me is just clear as day, number 1. So I guess your top. You think your top characters fall?
Yeah.
In that order too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But me see.
Actually, you know what? Yes, they do. The characters do.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say Christine would have to be like in my top 5
Really?
favorite characters.
The car
itself,
The
yeah,
car.
yeah.
That's awesome.
See, like I would say Dr. Loomis would be up there because of Halloween, but I think he's top 5 easy.
Yeah.
But I think I almost have to put Snake Plissken number 1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So even though the movie's reversed, I'd have to reverse the characters. You know what I mean?
I have Big Trouble as number 1, but I would put Snake as
I put Snake
as my
as number
first.
1.
Jack Burton,
I would
yeah.
I
would put Burton as
Dude,
2 and Snake at 4.
John Nada.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper, I love that
Yeah.
character. That
Yeah.
was a cool ass character. He looked awesome. Like he
Yeah.
looked the part. Adrienne Barbeau could probably be in the top 5 too, just for
Her cleavage.
just for her cleavage.
Both of her.
Yeah.
both in both movie in either movie. I don't care.
In real life.
In real life,
Whatever.
however you can get her. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But I would definitely put Dr. Loomis up there in top 5. But just a little bit weird. I just want to see if you guys had any other characters. I figured that would.
I'd put McCready from The Thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say The Thing. McCready would have to be the guy, the character.
But otherwise, I'm right. along
James
with you.
Woods probably moves up to that close in that list too with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That could almost move up there.
I don't know. I did put Christine up there.
Yeah.
Dude, Christine, like, I have it at number 10. And but dude, Christine the car as a character is amazing.
Yeah.
Scary as shit.
Oh, yeah.
That scene where
Very
she's
scary.
chasing people down on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slow, driving
Yeah.
slow
Yeah.
on fire. That's
Yeah.
scary as shit.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy.
And well, you know what the scariest one to me is in the alley that's too small.
Yeah.
Dude, like it's the car is destroying itself just to fucking kill that guy.
The music
That's
in that
scary.
scene.
Yeah.
The music in that scene, playing guitar, like I've been inspired to learn that theme.
Yeah.
And I've got about maybe half of it, or quarter to half of it. It's awesome.
You know,
Love it.
yeah, but you know, that was actually a very good question because I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Christine would be moved up there,
Just because
but I would put James Woods. I don't remember his name,
I don't remember in the
From
It's been
Vampires.
a long time since I've seen Vampires.
but yeah, I'd put him high up. I don't know if he'd be in the top 5 characters,
Right.
but he'd definitely be up on the list.
That's so. We are going to be running out of time soon. So, any final thoughts on anything? Anything we didn't talk about you want to add?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't.
He's spent.
he's spent. He just
Man,
It's funny.
I
When,
really-
it's funny all the shit you
I
want to talk
really-
about, and then you get there and
I
you're
know.
like, "What the hell?"
Well, like I feel really bad because Big Trouble is in my top 5 movies of all time,
yeah,
and like I want to talk more about it, but I just can't. It's like what else can you say about a fucking?
I'd almost have to put Halloween in my top 10 or 5 of all time.
You know what? I think I would put Halloween in one of my top 10.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Escape and Big Trouble are in my top 10.
Yeah,
Really?
of all time. Yeah, that's,
I've got a weird list.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I can understand that, but
Big Trouble's in my top 5.
yeah, and that, that's hard to rank your favorite movies of all time because there's so
It
many.
is. It's
very,
very,
very
hard.
hard.
Very
but
hard.
but just by the amount of how much I can talk about it, how much I've watched it, how much I love it,
Mhm.
and I still all this time. I mean, I've watched Halloween more times than I can count.
That's usually how
the
I judge
sequel,
stuff.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
really it. So
That's usually how I judge
and I don't count. I don't count all of them because when you're a kid, you watch shit like over and over and over
Well,
again.
yeah.
But one.
I'm talking like as an adult, if you watch something, once a year for 20 years.
Yeah. Well, so I'm saying, like, I watched it over and over again when I was a kid, and I'm still watching it
Yeah.
multiple times a year.
Yeah.
That's good enough to be on the list. And Halloween's one of them.
Yeah.
Halloween 2, Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
Twister, Batman. Like, that's the stuff that,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Batman, the Tim Burton Batman, the first one, that's fucking amazing. So that's
I've watched both Keaton's Batmans.
more times than you can count,
I would say 50 times
at
a
least.
piece.
Oh, I
That's-
guarantee I beat you.
like-
I have beat you.
I almost feel bad. Like,
I've
I
beat-
feel bad. How
I
many
think I have
times
a
I've
problem
seen it.
because I've watched them.
You played that
many times.
VCR like a harp from hell.
Yeah, I did play that VCR like a heart from
You know
hell.
what? You know what? My brother.
You gotta
Like,
admit.
I had a lot of videos. That I watched like over and over again. But my brother only watched 2 movies. His
He
his
did.
whole entire life.
He did.
His whole entire life. He's gonna be like 25. He'll be
He's
25
the same
this
age as
year.
my sister, and you're around. Anyway.
Around.
Well, if it was any of these, he's a winner.
It's not.
Oh, no.
It's not. Oh no. Oh,
Wait till
no.
you hear one of them's 8 seconds, isn't it?
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, if anybody knows what 8 seconds is, yeah, my brother literally went through 3 different VHSs of 8 seconds.
Yeah. He likes seeing Lane Frost get killed.
Yeah.
Too much.
Oh no, he would cry every day,
Every damn time.
every day.
Really?
Oh man,
When he just tortured
and
himself this whole time.
it surprised him every time.
That's the best thing ever. Oh, what? No. Oh, Lane. No.
No,
You can't.
My brother is not he's not a film buff like we
No,
are.
he's not.
He does not like movie. He does not like sitting still.
That
He
dude-
doesn't like being
The
inside.
dude just up and moves and works, and
Yeah.
that's it.
But
not.
yeah,
We're lazy. We're sacks of shit. We
Oh,
just
yeah.
we just watch movies.
Oh yeah.
Terrible.
Dude, but yeah, seriously, that's going back to the whole watching movies over and over again. That's how I
And you
make
rank
my
your
list.
shit,
That's
yeah.
how I rank my list.
Yeah.
That's how I know if I've watched something.
If it's influenced you in
Like-
any way,
If I've watched something more than 20 times, I obviously fucking like it. Obviously.
yeah. I mean, I got turned on.
There's
to,
a lot of stuff that I really like that I've never watched that many
I
times.
get turned on to other movies by the same creator director that shows you a lot about the film.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So I mean, and how can you not like Carpenter?
Yeah.
I mean, the man is the true Hollywood outlaw. He is a true outlaw.
Yep.
He is the man, and he is my favorite. He's straight up my favorite
Yeah.
director. I mean, I love James Cameron.
At one time, I would have said Cameron, but he hasn't made anything of relevance.
No.
Yeah.
since.
Well, I mean, and Carpenter really hasn't either.
Yeah.
But I mean,
His body of work's greater though.
but it is. I mean, and you can say like Spielberg's has been attached to some really great stuff, and I like Spielberg, and I like the stuff he's attached to. 'Cause, I mean, some of them are in my top 10 favorite movies, and I think that Cameron's is up there too. I mean, you got Terminator, and you've got all these other Aliens. He's got a lot of good work too, but I think Carpenter's got more. I think as far as me being able to go back and watch them multiple times, and then being introduced to a few of these new ones, and they're amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, Carpenter's it, man. For me, he is the man. So,
an amazing director and an amazing musician,
Yep.
and I'm glad that.
Yep.
I think he gets his due now because people see it now, and I'm glad he finally does because a lot of these movies didn't hit. When they came out.
I agree. Yeah.
Then
That would be my closing.
there were a lot of these movies. Speaking of movies that didn't hit, there was a lot of these movies that shouldn't have but did.
Right.
I think that's hilarious.
Well, Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween.
$320,000
budget made $10 million or something
what'd you
like
say Escape from New York was?
$6
million. How much money does it bring in? Still to this day.
Yeah, that's insane.
That was just the gross back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's just man, so good. So
I would say that just my last words for John Carpenter. There's never been a person in Hollywood that has done more with less. Never. There's never been.
I don't think so either. I think you're right. Who has been able, and that's what's so entertaining about listening to his commentaries or these documentaries on these movies, especially Halloween and stuff, where you just you see this process. He explains and shows us the process of how these things were done.
Yep.
And and how, like, especially in Halloween, where he had the majority of his staff, the entire group of people working on the movie was out helping. Even the actors, other than probably Pleasance, was out raking leaves and moving them from scene to scene. And that's just goes to show you how they were just a bunch of young kids trying to make a movie, and then it was never supposed to be amazing. It just was.
Yep.
Just doing a job,
and it's as modest as the man.
It's the vision.
It is
his vision. His vision for stuff is so much greater
than
most other people's.
Well, and I think a lot of it helps because he is such a real fucking guy.
Yeah. Well, you'll find directors that have that vision once in a while, but not near as often as Carpenter.
Yeah. So
Carpenter could take a turd, polish it up, and sell it to you.
Oh, I guarantee it. And he'll laugh. Laugh at you for it.
I know that sounds super redneck, but that's because I am one.
Yeah. Oh, he'll make fun of you and laugh at you for liking it.
Yeah.
You idiot.
Yeah. He will.
And it'll be hilarious.
Idiot.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do us for the John Carpenter podcast.
Yeah.
Here we just started rambling now. We will be back here next week again, and I think we're going to do the Hat of Doom.
Woohoo!
I think that's our next one. We're going to do another Hat of Doom, and we're going to add some more categories, add some more movies. I don't know if we're going to add some more categories. Definitely some more movies.
Definitely more movies. Yeah, we got to replace what we took out.
Right. We got to definitely replace those. So we're going to do that. We'll be back next week with that. If you like what you hear and you want to help us out, we actually just launched a Patreon account now, and we've been doing YouTube for a while. So, and you know how YouTube is, and they're nonsense, chicanery. But anyway, it's patreon.com/Foppish Dandies. We have all of our info there, so you want to check us out and support us there. We would greatly appreciate it. You don't have to, but it would.
No, you have to.
But we'd you'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Boop you.
It'll boop you. Yeah. Make sure you do it, or we'll boop you on the head.
Put the glasses on.
Yeah. Put your glasses on and join right now. See you guys later.